When all is said and done, when the activities of a long life quiet to a whisper, what truly remains of us? It is a question that surfaces in the serene moments of reflection after the children are grown, careers have concluded, and the face in the mirror holds the map of 1,000 yesterdays. Are we merely the sum of our memories, destined to fade like echoes in an empty hall? Or is the essence of who we have become, the compassion we have learned, the forgiveness we have granted, the wisdom we have earned, something tangible, something that travels with us beyond the final veil? The celebrated American mystic Edgar Cayce provided a breathtaking answer to this question. He perceived that our true life's work isn't about building a legacy of stone and story on earth, but about forging a soul capable of inhabiting specific spiritual destinations. He described a cosmic architecture where our level of spiritual evolution determines, with the precision of a universal law, the very realm we will call home. The profound implication is that our afterlife is not a predetermined fate, but a reality we are actively building with every thought and deed today. Before we delve into Cayce's extraordinary revelations and explore the landscapes of the beyond, I invite you to support us on this expedition into knowledge. If you find value in this search for truth, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Your support is the energy that allows us to continue unveiling these profound spiritual mysteries for you. To understand the soul's geography that Edgar Cayce described, we must first abandon the idea that life is a single, isolated event. According to his readings, we are eternal beings in a continuous process of learning and refinement. The earth, with all its beauty and challenges, is an intensive school, a workshop where the soul has the opportunity to forge virtues such as patience, compassion, and unconditional love. Our spiritual evolution, therefore, is not measured in material achievements or social status, but in the degree to which we have learned to express our divine nature, our kinship with the creative force that Cayce called God. The evolutionary level of a soul determines its vibrational frequency. Think of it as a musical note. Some souls resonate with the dense, heavy notes of selfishness and fear, while others vibrate at the high, clear frequencies of love and service. It is these frequencies that determine which spiritual realm we are magnetically drawn to after leaving the physical body. It is not a judgment imposed by an external deity, but a natural law of the universe. Like attracts like. The soul simply gravitates to the plane of existence that matches its internal state of consciousness. That is why the most important work we do in this life is the inner work, healing our wounds, transmuting our shadows, and raising our vibration. Number 1. The realms of purging or confrontation. For many souls departing from earthly existence, the first destination is not an ethereal paradise, but a space of deep introspection and purification. Cayce referred to these as the lower realms or the denser astral planes. It is crucial to understand that these are not places of eternal punishment, but rather hospitals for the soul. They are environments designed for self-confrontation, where the illusions we held in life fade away and we face the stark reality of our actions and motivations. Imagine a hall of mirrors where each mirror reflects not your physical appearance, but the consequences of your choices. If a soul has lived a life dominated by selfishness, greed, or cruelty, in this realm it will find itself immersed in a reality created by those very energies. It will feel the pain it inflicted, the lack it caused, the darkness it sowed. It is not divine retribution, but a direct karmic lesson, an opportunity for the soul to understand on a visceral level the impact of its negativity. The souls drawn here are those who clung tightly to material possessions, to power over others, to addictions, or to deep-seated hatreds. On earth, they may have used their wealth or status to insulate themselves from the consequences of their actions, but in these realms, there is no escape. The soul must face its own mental and emotional creations. It is a process that can be frightening and painful, similar to a severe detoxification, where the spiritual system is purged of the accumulated toxins of negative thoughts and emotions. Spirit guides and beings of light are always available to help, but they cannot interfere with the soul's learning process. Healing only begins when the soul, of its own free will, recognizes its mistakes, feels genuine remorse, and yearns for a better path. Signs in our current life that might indicate we are working with lessons from this level include a constant struggle with addictive patterns, a tendency towards manipulation, an inability to forgive old grudges, or an overwhelming fear of loss and change. If you recognize yourself in this, it is not a cause for despair but a call to action. Every conscious act of generosity, every heartfelt forgiveness offered, every time you choose compassion over judgment, you are rewriting your karmic destiny and raising your vibration above the pull of these realms of confrontation. Number 2. The realms of the earth revisited. This is a fascinating concept in the Cayce readings. He describes an intermediate state in which certain souls remain very close to the terrestrial sphere after physical death. They are not necessarily in the realms of purging, but they have not ascended to higher planes either. These are souls who, for various reasons, maintain an extremely strong attachment to the material world. Often, this is due to a sudden or traumatic death that left them in a state of confusion, not fully realizing they have passed on. They may try desperately to communicate with their loved ones, reliving the final moments of their lives over and over again. Other souls that populate this realm are those whose identity was completely wrapped up in their possessions, their fame, or their earthly pleasures. The tycoon who cannot let go of his empire, the artist who lives only for the adoration of his audience, or the hedonist who cannot conceive of an existence without sensory gratification. Upon leaving the body, their focus remains so fixed on the material that they become ghosts in their own past life, unable to perceive the subtler realities being offered to them. Also, here are the souls who left with overwhelming unfinished business, such as a broken promise to a loved one or a crucial responsibility they abandoned. Their own remorse and sense of duty bind them to the earth as they attempt to rectify what they left undone. This state is not permanent, but it can last for a long time if the soul refuses to let go. Evolution here is slow, as the soul must gradually learn to detach from its earthly anchors and accept its new reality. The fundamental lesson of this realm is detachment, and the understanding that our true identity lies not in what we have or what we do, but in who we are as spiritual beings. In our current life, a sign that we might be at risk of being caught in this state is an excessive dependence on external validation, a definition of self based purely on career or wealth, or a paralyzing fear of old age and the loss of physical faculties. Cultivating spirituality, practicing meditation, and finding joy in non-material things like relationships, nature, and service are powerful antidotes. Learning to see ourselves as souls having a human experience, rather than humans who might have a soul, is the key to ensuring our transition is a flight forward, not an anchor to the past. Number 3. The realms of growth and study. Once the soul has purged itself of the densest negativities and detached from purely earthly tethers, it enters planes of existence that are much more luminous and constructive. Cayce described them as vast astral worlds filled with opportunities for continued learning and growth. These realms are like magnificent universities of the spirit, with libraries of wisdom, art studios where masterpieces are created with thought, and gardens of indescribable beauty where souls can rest and recuperate. Here the soul continues the work it began on earth, but in a much more focused way and without the limitations of the physical body. A soul who on earth was a passionate musician but lacked the discipline to master their art might spend time in this realm, studying the universal laws of harmony and sound with consummate masters. A scientist who was searching for a cure for a disease might gain access to a much deeper knowledge of energy and healing. The souls who are drawn to these realms are those who on earth demonstrated a thirst for knowledge, a passion for creativity, and a genuine desire to improve. They need not have been geniuses or famous artists. A mother who dedicated her life to learning the best way to raise her children with love and wisdom, or a gardener who humbly studied the mysteries of nature, would have cultivated the necessary vibration to access these planes of study. In these realms, a vital life review process also takes place. Accompanied by loving guides, the soul reviews its earthly existence, not with judgment, but with the aim of learning. It sees not only its own actions, but also how those actions affected others, feeling the joy and pain it caused. It is a profound lesson in empathy and responsibility. This is also where we reunite with members of our soul group, those beings with whom we have journeyed through many lifetimes, learning and growing together. These reunions are sources of great comfort and joy, and it is here that we plan our future incarnations, deciding what lessons we need to learn next and what roles we will play in each other's lives to aid in their own growth. A sign that your soul resonates with the energy of these realms is a lifelong love of learning, an insatiable curiosity, a passion for creating, whether in art, cooking, gardening, or business, and a desire to understand the why of things. If you enjoy teaching, mentoring, and sharing your wisdom with others, you are expressing the energy of these constructive planes, continuing to cultivate the mind, opening yourself to new ideas, and always seeking to grow as a person is the best preparation for these magnificent classrooms of the spirit. Number 4. The realms of service. As a soul progresses through the planes of study and learning, its focus gradually shifts from the self to others. Consciousness expands beyond personal growth to encompass a deep, sincere desire to help others on their evolutionary journey. This marks the transition to the realms of service. These are not necessarily a separate place, but a dimension of spiritual activity that can take place on many of the higher planes. Here, souls become guides, teachers, and healers for those who are still in earlier stages of their development. They are the beings of light who assist souls in the realms of purging, offering comfort and encouragement. They are the spirit guides who whisper inspiration into the minds of artists and scientists on Earth. They are the guardian angels who protect and guide their loved ones who are still incarnate. The work in these realms is incredibly varied and is tailored to the unique talents and experiences of each soul. A soul who on Earth was a compassionate doctor might work in the astral realms helping to heal souls who have suffered great trauma. A soul who was a patient and dedicated teacher might guide groups of younger souls through their life reviews. A soul who mastered the art of unconditional love might simply emanate that energy, creating an atmosphere of peace and healing for all who surround it. The primary motivation in these realms is selfless love. The souls here have largely transcended the ego. They seek no recognition or reward. Their greatest joy comes from seeing others grow and find their own light. They have understood the fundamental truth that Cayce emphasized time and again, that we are all one. To help another is ultimately to help oneself, because we are all part of the same divine body. The souls who are drawn to this vibration of service are those who on Earth lived lives of generosity, altruism, and compassion. They are the volunteers, the caregivers, the good Samaritans, the parents who sacrifice for their children, the friends who are always there in times of need. It is not about grand heroic gestures, but about a constant orientation of the heart towards the well-being of others. In our current life, we can cultivate this vibration through acts of service, however small. Listening to a friend who is suffering, volunteering in the community, offering a kind word to a stranger, forgiving someone who has wronged us. These are all acts that align us with the realms of service. When the desire to give becomes stronger than the desire to receive, we are building our home on these planes of love in action. It is a beautiful stage of the soul's journey where we find our deepest purpose by becoming a channel for divine grace in the universe. Number 5. The planetary and cosmic realms. Beyond the realms directly associated with the Earth experience, Edgar Cayce described a much vaster universe of soul experience and evolution. He spoke of how souls, after completing their cycle of incarnations on Earth and mastering its lessons, can choose to continue their journey in other planetary systems and dimensions of consciousness. Each planet in our solar system, according to Cayce, represents a particular stage of consciousness development and offers a unique set of lessons. He mentioned Mercury as a realm associated with the intellect and the mind, Venus with love, Mars with anger and force, Jupiter with wisdom and grand vision, and Saturn with the final purification where the last vestiges of the lower self are stripped away. A soul might choose to spend time in one of these spheres of consciousness to perfect a particular attribute. For example, a soul that has developed great love but lacks the strength to apply it wisely might be drawn to the Mars sphere to learn about self-assertion and courage. A highly intellectual soul who needs to develop their heart might spend time in the Venus consciousness. This interplanetary journey is not space tourism, but a continuation of the soul's education on a cosmic scale. The goal is to become a complete and balanced being, having integrated all facets of divine experience. The souls who have reached this level of evolution are beings of great power and wisdom. They are what we might call ascended masters or cosmic beings. They have transcended the limitations of a single culture or planet and now operate on a universal level. They may participate in the co-creation of new worlds, guide the evolution of entire civilizations, or work with the cosmic energies that maintain the balance of the universe. The consciousness in these realms is expansive and unified. The soul no longer experiences itself as a separate entity, but as an individualized expression of the one consciousness. It feels a deep connection with all life, everywhere. In our current life, it is difficult to know if we are destined for these cosmic realms, but there are clues. A feeling of not quite belonging to this world, a lifelong fascination with the stars and the cosmos, dreams or meditations in which one travels to other worlds, and a deep yearning to understand the greatest mysteries of the universe may be echoes from a soul with a cosmic destiny. Cultivating a universal perspective, seeing humanity's problems from a broader view, and feeling compassion for all beings, not just humans, are ways to begin vibrating in harmony with these higher dimensions of existence. It is the recognition that our home is not just this planet, but the vast infinite universe of God. Number 6. The return to oneness. The final destination of every soul's journey, the ultimate goal of all incarnations, lessons, and experiences through countless realms, is the return to the source. Edgar Cayce described this as the state of oneness with God, the complete reabsorption into the divine consciousness from which we originally emerged. This is not a realm or a place, but a state of being. It is the complete dissolution of the sense of a separate self. It is the culmination of the prodigal son's journey, finally returning home to the heart of the Father-Mother God. In this state, there is no more need to incarnate, no more karma to resolve, no more lessons to learn. The soul has become a perfect companion to the creative force, a conscious co-creator with God. This does not mean an annihilation of individuality, as some fear. Cayce suggested that the soul retains the awareness of its unique journey, but its identity expands to encompass the totality of being. It is like a drop of water returning to the ocean. It is no longer a separate drop, but its essence contributes to the whole of the ocean, and at the same time it contains the consciousness of the entire ocean within itself. To reach this state is the attainment of spiritual perfection. It requires the complete mastery of the most important lesson in the universe, unconditional love. It is a love that knows no boundaries, no conditions, no judgments. It is the love that God feels for all of creation. The souls who approach this final state are the great spiritual avatars of humanity, beings like the Christ or the Buddha, who incarnated on earth to show the way. Their lives were perfect examples of selfless service, infinite compassion, and unity with the divine will. In our own lives, every time we choose love over fear, forgiveness over resentment, unity over separation, we take a small step toward this ultimate destiny. Deep meditation, heartfelt prayer, and moments of mystical connection where we feel a oneness with all of life are glimpses of this ultimate reality. They are reminders of our true home. The journey through the spiritual realms, as described by Edgar Cayce, is a path of returning to who we truly are. Each life, each challenge, each realm is an opportunity to shed another layer of illusion and reveal the divine light that has always been within us. It is an epic of cosmic proportions, and each of us is the hero at the center of our own magnificent story. Reflecting on these realms is not for judging or comparing ourselves, but for inspiring us. It shows us a map of the possibilities that await and reminds us that our daily choices have eternal significance, shaping not only our future in this world, but our destiny throughout eternity.